So just to kick it off, can you just kind of introduce yourself, walk us through how you done basketball in the first place and everywhere it's taken you so far?
Oh, wow. My name is Quincy Olivari. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I played basketball this past year, my grad year at Xavier University. What got me into basketball was definitely my father. He used to do media for the Atlanta Hawks, and so just being around him and him doing media also for 790 The Fan, just kind of coming home with different bobbleheads from different Atlanta Hawks players, my favorite being Joe Johnson, just kind of had me around basketball at a young age, and I just loved it because my dad was around it and I always wanted to be around my dad, so whatever excuse I had to be like my dad or be around it was really what got me into it. Basketball has taken me, to the Bahamas. It's taken me to play in Creighton, taking me to play in Madison Square Garden, in Chicago, in Fiserv Forum. It's taking me to Florida, Texas, California. It's taken me a lot of places that I never thought I would go to play basketball, and hopefully I don't stop there. So that's what got me into basketball, and that's where some of the places that it's taken me so far.
For sure. And you said Joe Johnson was your favorite player growing up. What was it about it that kind of drew you to him?
As a Hawks fan, he was always taking the big shots. ISO Joe, that's what they used to call him. And he was always taking the big shots, and he would always hit the big shots. And it was just like, man, that's the guy that's scoring all the points, and everybody's going crazy for him. So I think that's what really gravitated me towards him. But as I got older, I really started liking Mike Bibby, and then I really, really liked Jamal Crawford, and that's kind of who I used to like watching a lot growing up.
For sure. And you mentioned that what your dad had on you. Through his career in sports media, what do you think the biggest kind of thing you learned from him?
Media training, how to talk in front of a camera, how to talk to people in a room, how to conduct myself in front of a camera, and how to conduct my thoughts and not and how to come together, and when I do get stuck, just kind of like take a quick pause. And people mess up, but don't take too much time to I think, and fidget with my hands and look around, and just how to talk to the media.
For sure. And now, looking at this past season, what are kind of some of your favorite moments from it?
Most definitely the 43 points against DePaul. That was an amazing experience, and then ironically, I also had that performance right in front of my father. I think a close second might be playing in Madison Square Garden. Winning that first game against Butler was amazing. People talked about it on my visit when they said that they played in the championship and the Saturday and the Friday, and the games leading up to that in the Madison Square Garden was amazing. But I think nothing compares to the stories until you're actually in it, whether that's the elevator or walking up the ramp or running out or at the end of the game. Like, I remember specifically, I was coming on a fast break and I hit a Euro step and I laid it up, and the whole arena was like, ooh, and I'm running down the court, like, I'm trying not to lose it, but in my mind, like, I'm going crazy. And I think the third might be the crosstown shootout, just hitting threes against Cincinnati, and finally making that nickname Cincinnati stick. That might be, that's top three for sure.
For sure. And whether it's big moments in MSG or putting up 43 in a game, can you speak to kind of what it's like to be in that flow state and really have it going?
It's an amazing feeling. People ask me all the time, like, what were you thinking when you were scoring 43? Was it something DePaul was doing? Or what were you doing when you hit threes against Cincinnati? And I just say, you just get into a zone, and it's like you're not even thinking. When you shoot the ball, you're not thinking about mechanics, you're just shooting. When you're on a run and you're scoring like 43 points, for example, you're just out there just having fun. Sometimes you get to a point where you're just trying stuff. Like, again, when I scored 43 against DePaul, I shot like a shot from almost half court. Like, you just get into a flow where nothing seems like a bad shot, or when you're in transition, you just kind of make sure your feet set and you just shoot it. It's an experience that only when you're in it you can really understand what I'm talking about. But when you're trying to describe it, you can't really think of a word to perfectly talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the strong performances you had throughout the year, you then got to be in the Reese's All-Star Game, the three-point contest. What was that like for you?
It was amazing. The three-point contest was the first one I had been in since 5th grade. I was in the YBOA Nationals three-point contest in 5th grade, and I won that one. and I had always wanted to be in a three-point contest ever since. So just being there and it being on ESPN, national TV, like that was an amazing experience. Obviously, I wish I could have won, but I had so much fun being there, and the guys that I met, it was an indescribable experience. And the Reese's All-Star Game, 5 years ago actually, when the Final Four was in Minnesota, me and my dad took a trip, our father-son spring break trip, and I got to see that was my first one watching, and I had a friend, Matt Morgan, playing it. 5 years later, I'm in it myself, and I'm wearing number 5, and it was like a full circle experience. My dad shared that with me, so that meant a lot because it was almost like a full circle moment for me.
Absolutely. And now you're here at the Portsmouth Invitational, again, recognizing the success you've had throughout your career. What's it been like to be playing here, and what's it mean to be playing on the stage?
It's been amazing. I think it's 64, I believe, players here. One of 64 seniors, top seniors in the country, is an amazing honor in itself. I don't know how to describe it, whether that's the games or the interviews I've had. The electricity in the high school gym has been cool, whether that was the first game I played at 9 p.m. or even the second game I played yesterday at 3. It was still cool to be out there. It's rare you get to perform in front of all 30 NBA teams, and when you get that opportunity, you try your best to make the most of it, even if you're nervous or thinking too much in your head. And the first game, it was fun. It's just kind of getting adjusted to the new rules: 3 seconds, 8 seconds up the floor, getting offensive rebound, 14 seconds on the clock, things like that. In the second game, I struggled offensively, but I think what I showed the most is that a bad offensive showing won't cloud who I am as a person. I can still affect winning outside of scoring the ball, whether that's defense, whether that's trying my best to rebound the ball, whether that's energy on the floor, just cheering for my teammates. And so being here is just an amazing opportunity to showcase my game, potentially put me in a better position to get a spot in the NBA, whether that's a two-way, full outright contract. Just the opportunity to have that logo on my shoulder / my chest is an amazing experience, and I'm taking full advantage of it.
And where does that mental fortitude come from, whether it's to, combat those nerves of playing on this stage, or whether it's to say, hey, I might be struggling in this area, but I still want to, give my all in the rest of my game?
When I broke my wrist my junior year and I had to take time away from the game, it really helped me learn more about myself as a man and as a player. I took the time to really grow my left hand, whether that was off the court, whether that's eating, writing, brushing my teeth, taking a shower, on the court, using my left hand to pass, to dribble, to shoot, to whatever it took, and also just learn the game from a coaching perspective. So how can I affect the game outside of just scoring? I'm out the game. I'm not able to play basketball. Well, I'm going to sit in coaches' meetings. I'm going to talk to Coach P and ask him questions about what he sees on defense. I'm going to watch the basketball games that we're playing against the teams and scout them and talk to players. What do they see? And can just try my best to come back better than I was before, but also just relight that fire and that hunger that I need this, and knowing what it feels like without, how it feels to not have the game and not be able to wake up and go to practice, or not being able to wake up and lift, and understand that I can't take any of that for granted. Just reminds myself that I have to go out there, and if the shot's not falling, it's something else that I can do to affect the game, because if I don't, then maybe this won't work out. So just always just give it everything you got, and know that there's always another option as far as scoring that I can affect the game on the court.
For sure. What was it like getting to have that relationship with the coaches and with people around you, that you could sit on those meetings and kind of learn the game from that perspective and keep growing your awareness of the game? It's
amazing, because I think, like I tell Coach Perry all the time, without him I wouldn't be where I am today. Every year I was at Rice, I learned something new about myself, and I grew as a player and matured as a person. And to be able to have that, I think, was the biggest reason I am where I am today, because it allowed me to understand the game away from being on the court. And that's when you learn the most. That's why film is so important, and that's why it's so important that your coaches are who they are and they hold you accountable. So if you're able to be in their same position and learn from their point of view, it kind of propels you to a different level, because you now understand things from a coach's perspective instead of just a player on the court.
For sure. And you touched on your growth with Rice. What do you think the main way that you grew this past year with Xavier was?
Understanding the mental process that it takes every game to prepare, just to give yourself an opportunity to win, or an opportunity to make the tournament, or an opportunity to be top 4 in the conference, to get a bye, just always making sure that everything requires all effort, whether that's physical or mental, just to give yourself an opportunity.
For sure. And now looking at the last couple of games you have here, what are you looking to keep showing coaches and scouts and put on display in your game and in your approach?
That my rebounding isn't a fluke, that my energy is one of one, and that I love playing basketball. And every time I step on the floor, I'm gonna show my teeth and smile because I'm having fun, and I'm blessed to be out there because at any moment this game could be taken away.
What do you think the biggest thing you've been working on since the season wrapped up is?
Reads, for sure. Just learning basic reads in the NBA, especially with the no 3 seconds or the 3-second rule in the NBA. The big can't just sit in the paint and just point, or if the ball's on help side, the opposite defender can't just sit under the basket. That, and just understanding like if they're point switching and a quick slip, or if they wrap, then maybe the other man can come back out and get a handoff, set a screen for a big. It's just like basic reads that you can try to pick up quick for an NBA team, whatever roster you end up on. Just understanding some basic reads in offense.
What's that process been like? How have you been going about trying to learn those reads?
Definitely every day I've just been working with Irv Rowland out there in Frisco at the Sports Academy. We work out, and during workouts he takes time to kind of pull up the laptop, and he'll pull out the TV, and we'll look at basic reads, whether that's offense or defense, understanding new rules that we might not be used to in college. And he kind of just takes the time to describe those, and then we'll go out on the court and kind of work through them.
And what do you think is something that not many people kind of know about you, and you want to make sure that whether it's here or whether it's in the future, you want to make sure that scouts, fans know going forward?
That even though I'm smiling, that doesn't mean I'm not serious. I think that's the biggest thing. A lot of people think that when I'm smiling, I'm not being serious, but the smile is just to show I'm having fun. I'm as serious as I can be.
What is the most fun thing about playing basketball? Where does that constant smile come from?
My father. He always reminds me that everything I do, I need to give everything I have, but there's no point in stressing, because basketball it started off as a hobby. You started playing it as a kid to just be with other friends, to just get out the house, to just play outside, to make friends, to eat snacks after the game, just to spend a Saturday out. And now that other factors are involved, doesn't change the reason why you got into it. So just remember to always have fun, and always remember that it's not supposed to be stressful at the end of the day.
For sure. And just a few more questions. You mentioned some of the Hawks players that you really enjoyed watching growing up. You mentioned Jamal Crawford, someone that you really kind of you enjoy watching and try to play like. Is there any other players that either growing up or now you're really studying and looking to shape your game after more? Yeah, just growing up, I watched a lot of Bradley Beal and a lot of Tyrese Maxey. When it comes to shaping my game as an NBA player, I look at a lot of Seth Curry, just how he comes off ball screens and gets out in transition and just plays a role, especially how he played his role for the Mavericks. I thought that was really, really good. It's a lot of good film you can watch on someone like me trying to make it into the NBA. But when it came to just watching players, I loved watching Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal was a favorite to watch, and Tyrese Maxey. Obviously, entertainment purposes, I'm watching Kobe, Jordan, Gilbert Arenas, players like that just for entertainment. Steph Curry, of course, but when it comes to like modeling my game, especially for the pro level, Seth Curry for sure. Awesome. What would you say you're looking forward to most in the next couple months after the draft?
Hopefully I can leave Portsmouth and have put myself in a position to have earned a combine invite, a G League combine invite, and that puts me in another position for another opportunity to get invited up to the NBA combine. From there, that's workouts, draft night, summer league, and just hopefully every day, every week, I'm putting myself in position to get another opportunity to get one step closer to playing in the NBA. Great.
And last question, if you had to pick one way that you will most impact winning at the next level, what would it be?
My energy for sure. Everybody at that level can score the ball. Everybody at that level can play basketball. But one thing I think I separate myself from a lot of people is my attitude and my energy. Obviously, I think I can shoot the ball well, but so can a lot of people, but not everybody has the energy I do.